Hi there everyone, this is the Innovative Traders and welcome to our channel. So in this video guys, I'll be doing a market breakdown, but before I do that, let us start with a recap on AUD USD, which is a trade we took this week that I've shared on last week's market breakdown and also gave an update during the week. So I remember how we saw this trade last week. We've analyzed a downtrend. And as downtrend, obviously we have higher, we have a low, a higher high, a lower high, a lower low, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. At this point, we saw this as a lower high because of price failed to break this previous lower high. So we're anticipating price to give us what? A lower low in continuation of the downward trend. So going to the smaller time frame, for our time frame, we saw this structure here as a continuation, a bearish continuation pattern coming from obviously a head and shoulders as a sign of a reversal in a form of a retest to its neckline, So we saw an impulse, a correction. We're expecting another impulse to the downside. We weren't able to catch it from the high here, but we were able to catch that continuation that I talked about last week. So currently this is how the AUD USD went, and it's still active by the way. So we're still hoping to hold it up until this level here. Based on this nature, is basically giving us maybe a continuation pattern maybe in this manner, then push to the downside to give us our last push to our first take profit. Even if price can still shoot towards the upside, that's still fine. We have managed to lock some few profits. It doesn't matter, as long as the most important thing whenever trading, as long as your capital is secured. Whatever the market gives after that, you just have to accept it. So we're still waiting for price to fully finish our last leg and possibly break towards the downside. We'll just have to pay attention to how price reacts on this area. Okay, still from here push towards the upside, or it can still break and finish its 90% rule. So currently price is at, this is like 2%. This is just an update of how the AUD USD pair is going. I really hope you guys learned something from how I was able to take this trade since last week. So yeah, that's it for AUD USD. Let us get to the market breakdown on the top 3 pairs that I'm having for this coming week, which is CHFJPY, Cadjpy, GBPUSD, and GBPUSD. So let us start with the very first one, which is Cadjpy. As you know from the high time frame, we have this straightforward structure, head and shoulders on the high time frame, neckline, expecting price to break towards the downside. We're having this section here, which is ranging. We call this phase as a consolidation phase. How did price get there? It came here with an impulse to the downside and giving us this flat continuation channel. So we're basically expecting what price to shoot towards the downside for the longer term run. The first scenario is a head and shoulders. The second one, impulse, flat continuation, impulse as a continuation. So we're actually expecting price to give us what selling opportunities towards the downside to complete its impulse leg. So drawing the structure, this is what we're currently having. As of an expanding type, but then I call this a flat continuation, an expanding type. So you want price to sell off from that point, from this point towards this point. So we have 2 factors supporting these buys. So from there, we go to the daily to mark off our significant levels. Obviously that is our highest high and the lowest low, and obviously the previous swing low, which is this one here. It's a swing low because we had a higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, then we had a higher high. We're anticipating what a higher low in continuation towards the downside. We're expecting price from here to give us what a lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, up until it reaches the 90% rule of this channel before it can actually break towards the downside to give us 90% of this weekly time frame. To complete this move, let's take the buzz pattern. To complete this move, the first target will be somewhere around this area. The final target will be around this area. But in the next coming days, months or years, something like that. But then overall, the momentum is to the downside. So let us go back to the daily time frame. So basically, this is what we're having in this current moment. We've identified our key significant levels, which is the lowest low, the highest high, and the previous swing low. Previous swing low. Previous swing low. So we are having this nature here. It was basically an uptrend. Price went to that point in an uptrend manner. Because obviously you have high, 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 low, high, 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 low, high, high. You're anticipating what? High, low. High, low. Price from this point can still push towards the upside since it's contained inside what? An uptrend. An uptrend. Or it can come to this area, break out, then push back up, then drop down, giving us what? Head and shoulders. You just have to pay attention to how the price will move towards those areas. But then currently we're looking for what? Selling opportunities, because of we have reached what? The higher high of this trend, and we have reached what? The high on that expanding from the higher time frame. The higher time frame. So we're expecting what? Selling opportunities. First target being around this area, second target being around this trend line. Overall, to this 90% rule of this trend channel. So this is what we're currently having. We are looking for what? Selling opportunities from this this channel, and we're having obviously a 1, 2, 3 structure at the top there. 1, 2, 3 structure at the top. You can take this as a rising wedge structure. A rising wedge structure. Remember, the market, whenever it's moving in a trend, it's also presenting to you structure. So we are using these trend lines to give you guide into understanding what kind of structure am I seeing. It is a bullish structure, but then what shape is it taking? It's giving you what? A rising wedge shape. So we're having this first touch, second touch is third touch, expecting price to drop towards the downside, provided that it will have enough momentum to break this level here. If this trend line here will still won't stop it from crossing, because this is basically an uptrend inside a continuation pattern towards the downside. Let's go to the 4-hour time frame, identify the phase that price is currently at. Okay, from this level you can see prices moving in this manner. Okay, we had an impulse to upside, had an impulse correction, had an impulse. Then we're having this correction. Yes, someone can argue that this correction is basically a continuation towards the upside, but then the high time frame is saying what? Downside. It's saying downside. So whenever we're seeing something that is opposing the high time frame, we have to wait for the right opportunity. So now let us analyze this current market price here. Let's take a look at how price is moving in. Let's see if we can find something that is aligning with the high time frame. So if you can check, we're having this channel here. This channel can act as a trend, and it can act as a continuation. You just have to read what is happening inside that channel. So we're having this channel here. It can act as an impulse correction, continuation, or it can act as what? As a trend. Why am I saying that? We have a high, we have a low, we have a lower high, we have a lower low, a double top, we have a lower low, we have a lower high. And price was supposed to give us what? A lower low, but it failed. It gave us what? A double bottom. Whenever we're seeing price failing to continue, that basically meaning price is not having enough momentum to actually continue with our momentum. It has to exhaust towards a high value area before it can continue with our momentum. So this is what we're currently having. Taking a look at what price is giving us. The price is actually corrected, by the way. So this channel can act as a trend or as a continuation. If it's acting as a continuation, it's going to be in this form here. Price can, if you can check this price level, give us what? A double bottom. If it's acting as a continuation, you will see price doing this impulse up correction, then impulse up, correction, further continue towards the upside if it's acting as a continuation. But then if it's acting as a trend, price will give us what? Bearish continuation. How do we see that we can take this as what? As a channel, as a continuation expanding channel this year, and obviously marking our previous swing high as a point of reference. Some can call it the point of interest. So now what do you want to see for selling opportunities is price, impulse, correction, okay, let me look at the impulse, correction, then pushing towards this area in a corrective manner before it can drop, giving us what? An ascending within this expanding type of nature, if this is acting as a trend. So basically I'm giving you two scenarios. You have to look at how price is acting from then you'll know what to do if price does this action or if price does that action. So if price comes to this area, in this level, in this nature, obviously we are taking what? Selling opportunities based on the small time frame, now aligning with what? The higher time frame. The higher time frame is saying what? Selling opportunities. So whenever you're seeing a buy inside the sell trend, just forget about buying opportunity, because if you're going against the trend, just forget about them. The high probable opportunities are what? Selling opportunities, because the high time frame is saying what? Downside. It's saying downside. So whenever in a downtrend, just focus on selling opportunities. Whenever in an uptrend, just focus on buying opportunities. If you're having a downtrend, then you're taking if you're having a downtrend and you're taking buying opportunity, basically you're going against a trend. That is basically what we call a scalp move. Yes, you can take them, but then they are low probable. The high probable is what? Are selling opportunities, because of the market is moving heavily towards the downside. So whenever you're seeing a downtrend, focus on what? Selling opportunities more than buying opportunities, because of that is where the money is. So this is what we're having currently. The high time frame is saying downside. Now we are taking this currently as what? As a downtrend. For it to confirm that it's a downtrend, we have to see price coming to this area in a corrective manner. Before it can start to what? Give us those selling opportunities. So basically, you're going to wait for price to fully develop before you can start to look for what? Selling opportunities. Diving to the 1 hour time frame, someone can just, which is actually the right thing. Someone can like take this here, as an impulse correction and expect to take sales from here. But then my advice to you is that wait for price to develop, because of usually, based on how I've backtested this price, usually when price, if you're having a high value area like this here, then you see price impulsing down, then giving you a consolidation here at the top of a high value area. I rather wait. I don't like taking these entries, because of like, for me, for how I see it, this is basically a low probable trade, because of what? It's at the top of the high value area. We don't know if this price will break. Remember, a high value area, it's a point of liquidity. There's strong how can I say it? They're like a strong wall. In order for a pattern to be high probable, it has to break below and consolidate below that channel. But then if it's above that line, I don't really like taking it, because of, according to how I've backtested these things, they are low probable if they are on top of a high value area in this case. For example, same applies to the one at top. If I want the buying opportunity, if the price consolidates below the high value area, I won't take it until it breaks that high value area and consolidate on top. That's when I can still take it, because of nothing is holding it out towards the downside. Nothing is holding it from breaking above. I hope you get what I'm saying. So now let us go back to the chart, back onto the Chfjpy. If you can check, we have a swing low. This is a swing low. Price is consolidating what? Above the swing low. So I cannot take this trade. If it broke below and gave me consolidation below this swing low, that is when I would know that this thing is a high probable sell. But then since it's above this swing low level, I cannot take it. So that is why I'm saying we are going to wait for price to develop. What you're looking for is either a consolidation, a push, break, then a flag. That's when you can take it. Or we can wait for price to fully develop, push towards the upside, probably from this area, push down on the 15 minute time frame, give us what? The consolidation, for selling opportunities. That's what you're basically waiting for. You either wait for this or you wait for this. Because if you can take we call it the high risk entry at this level, you're seeing a double top. Yes, it's valid, but then you have to check where is it, where is that pattern. Is it at a high value area or what? You can take it here, but then remember it's still above this level, still above this level. It has to be below it, because of this is basically what our swing low. This is our swing low. When price is trending, having a lower low, lower high, a lower low, a lower high, a lower low, a lower high. If it fails to break this low, that's basically a sign that this might change and push towards the upside to grab enough momentum before it can drop. So you cannot like how can I put it? You cannot sell from this area until it crosses this level. It has to cross first before you can start to look for what? Selling opportunities. You either take it here at the below of this up below, after this lower low, you take it below this line or at the top there. So you just have to ask yourself, where is that pattern? Where are you seeing that pattern? Is it at a high value area or not? So I'm currently waiting for this price to develop for this coming week. It's a higher probable sell. We are waiting for price to develop. Give us an entry from this level. Give us an entry from this level, or give us an entry from this level, away from this. We are trading under this thing, so it's high probable. Unlike having a pattern that is above that level, this can act as a double bottom and reverse to the upside. It will take you out. So this is what I'm currently waiting for the coming week. Downtrend. It's a downtrend. Lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. Price failed to give us a lower low, give us a double bottom. It can reverse to the upside to grab enough momentum as a double top before it can drop. That's why I'm saying I'm looking for an entry at this level. If it doesn't go to that level, I'm looking for an entry below this level. So that's where I'll be looking for what? Selling opportunities up until this year being my first target. Then my second target being this trend line here. After my trend line, obviously my overall target being here. Remember, because I'm saying you're going to take an entry doesn't mean that you're going to be only looking at that position until this level. Yes, that is possible, but then this is basically giving an indication that if you're seeing a momentum, if you're seeing a bias, you're seeing for example in a certain type of channel, you're seeing a channel. Obviously, if price breaks, you're expecting price to reach what? 90% of the channel. We are not necessarily saying that they should just hold one position up until here. Obviously, along the way you're going to get those extra entries. We're simply saying that you're going to capitalize as much as possible until price reaches this area, because of it has chance of reaching 90% of the channel. From this point, we are taking selling opportunities up until this point. We are going to capitalize as much as possible until price reaches this level, provided that we get those mini entries along that impulse bias. That's what that's what it actually means. Because of some of the people, they usually like look at one entry opportunity. You must know how to scale in. One impulse play can give you a lot of entry, a lot of opportunities. The rule, whenever we're saying price has 90% of reaching this the low of the correction, we're basically saying that as long as price hasn't reached that level, we're still going to capitalize until that price reaches that level. If it breaks here, you're capitalizing from this level until here. Basically mean you're going to look for those bearish continuation until price reaches that level. So Cadjpy, we're looking for selling opportunities from that level up until this level for the longer term run. So let us take a look at the second pair, which is Gbpusd. Gbpusd, remember guys, we had it from last week also. Remember, with currencies are a bit slow. You have to be patient because they take a lot of time to develop. And they can develop into deeper structure as they move. So you have to have a lot of patience whenever you are trading with currencies. So remember, we had this strong impulse down, still this impulse, simple correction, expecting price to do what? To drop to the downside. This acting was as a bear continuation pattern, having this as our 90% rule. So you're basically having this here as our flag. Obviously the top part there, the top part being this one, This one here. This is what we had previously. This is what we're having before price break to that price. So we're basically having what? An impulse. We're having an impulse consolidation. We're expecting an impulse because of this is the nature of what? Of a bearish continuation flag. So this is what we currently waiting to do. We're currently looking for selling opportunities on Cadjpy. Now let's go to the daily time frame to mark out our key significant levels. Our key significant levels. That's basically our highest high of price. Our lowest low is marked, and our previous swing high. This is swing high because of price gave us what? A higher high, a higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. This was the previous swing high before the new all-time high. That's why we're marking it as a point of reference. We have to check how price will act around this area. From this area, it can give us double bottom and push back up, or it can break below and continue with our selling opportunities. It's all about paying attention to how price reacts on its swing points. Swing points are basically those key significant levels where we have a lot of liquidity pressure. So let us go to the 4-hour time frame to identify our phase. Or before that, I remember we had something like this. Before that, we had something like this, just to add in more confluence. We're having this nature. Recent studies, we're having this nature. We're having this nature. Nasani Tabuchana. Reason why this happened, yes, we're expecting price to sell off from the third touch of this expanding channel, of this continuation, of this bearish continuation. Obviously, first touch is here, second touch, the third touch, we're expecting price to just drop massively to the downside. But then this is basically a sign that price didn't have enough momentum to drop. That is why it gave us this. That's why it gave us this extension towards the upside to provide how can I put it, to actually provide a lot of strength to actually give us that heavy momentum towards the downside. We're basically calling this a pattern extension. So going to the 4-hour time frame, this is what we're currently having. What is the phase that the market is presenting to us at this current price, this current moment of price? If you can check how price got there, it went there, an impulse correction, impulse, larger correction. But then if you can check the shape of this correction, this is basically a head and shoulders pattern. This is basically a head and shoulders pattern. This is our neckline. We're expecting price to break towards the downside. So as I was saying, we're expecting price to break towards the downside because of having a head and shoulders pattern. This is our head and shoulders pattern. Let us use this. This is our neckline, left shoulder, head, right shoulder. So, and if you can check how price is moving, okay, let's go to the 1-hour time frame so that you can get to see a clear picture of what is happening. From this point here, on this point, price started to move in a downtrending nature, How do you see that? We had a high, we had a low, we had a new high that failed to break the previous high. The previous high, we're calling this a lower high. After a lower high, price came back down. It broke this one, gave us a lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. But then price failed to break the previous lower low, giving us a double bottom. When price does this, you don't just jump into buying opportunities. Remember, this is basically a downtrend. If price fails to break a low, we have to wait for price to go back up to grab enough momentum before it can push and break the previous low. Just have to wait. So price failed to break the previous low. Why? Because of it doesn't have enough strength to break the low. So you have to wait for price to come back up to grab its momentum from this level here. Why? This is basically our swing high. From this level we're going down. Why I'm saying price will come back and grab strength is because of the high time frame is saying down downward movement, downward nature, downward trend. We're looking for selling opportunities. So this was basically our downtrend, using a trend line as a guide, and this is our previous swing high. So now we just have to wait for price to come to this area before it can drop. If you can check, price currently giving us what? A mini bullish continuation, as a sign that price will just give us a continuation, push up, give us a very short term buy, push up again from this level, it can drop, or it can break and test this high, give us what? A double top before it can drop towards the downside, giving us possibly a continuation pattern. A continuation pattern. Let me bring this back so you can get to see what I'm actually talking about. This pattern here. This pattern. Giving us this pattern. We just have to wait for price to present itself. This is a bullish continuation. You can take a buy, but then I don't think it has a lot of risk to reward ratio compared to the one that we're waiting for. So it's going to give us this continuation, push up, another continuation, probably trigger its way up until here, giving us what? A flat channel. Then we wait for that small impulse from the 15 minutes time frame to give us an entry to shoot towards the downside. So we just have to wait for price to come to this area. We are basically looking for selling opportunities. Higher time frame is saying impulse correction towards downside. We have seen a bearish continuation flag. Small time frame is saying what? We are seeing a head and shoulders at the touch of a high value area. We are seeing a head and shoulders pattern, and we are seeing price moving in a downward trend. But then at this point in the neckline, price failed to break because of it doesn't have enough momentum to break. So it has to go back up to select momentum, then finally push and break the low and continue moving toward downside in a bearish trend. So from there, we are only interested in seeing what bearish continuation patterns, because of looking at selling opportunities, that is where the money is compared to buying opportunities. That's it for Chfjpy. Well, let us take a look at the last pair, which is Gbpusd. So on Gbpusd, guys, we're looking for selling opportunities from last week. Is it last week? I forgot, but I think it's 2 weeks back. So remember what we had on the high time frame. We had this nature of price. Price is basically in a downtrend. This is an impulse correction. We're expecting price to give us what? That further push towards the downside, giving us what? Another impulse leg towards downside in the continuation of the downtrend. We had a high, we had a low, we had a lower high, a lower low, a lower high, anticipating price to break this low and give us what? A new lower low. Price keeps on creating what? A sequence of lower lows and lower highs as it continues breaking its own lows. That's how you see what? A downward trend. So now, currently we're having this nature. We're having this nature here. This is basically a flat continuation. How do we see that? Impulse, consolidation, which anticipating price to give us what? Further impulse towards downside. So we are looking for what? Selling opportunities on Gbpusd. So on the daily time frame, this is what we're having. How do we identify our key significant levels, which is our highest high and our lowest low, which is what we have marked already, and our previous swing low of the current trend. We have a higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. We have a higher high, we have a higher low, we have a double top. This was our previous swing low, but price broke it correctively, so we cannot mark this level, because of if you mark it, it's going to give you confusion because the trend line, the red line will basically pass through price, which is what we don't need. We have to keep this chart as simple as possible. So remember, the high time frame is saying we must look for selling opportunities, but then we have to check if the smaller time frame is really aligning with what the high time frame is telling us. So let us go into the 4-hour time frame to identify what we call our phase at the current moment. So looking at how price has been moving from this level, going for recent targets, we're having this kind of a structure. This is basically a corrective phase. It's basically a corrective phase. According to our time frame, we're supposed to have something like this: an impulse down, a continuation pattern, then a push down. But then price gave us an impulse and it started giving us this momentum. This is basically a lack of momentum for selling opportunities. Why price is doing that? It doesn't have enough momentum to drop to the downside. So what should price do to actually regain momentum? It has to go back up to test the highs again and drop, because since this level is what we call a level of liquidity. So all that selling pressure is basically on this high, So price has to go back up based on how it's moving currently. It has to go back up before it can start to shoot to the downside. So now this is what we're currently having as a phase, and obviously this is going to be our high value area. This is an impulse down, consolidation. This is acting as a reversal pattern. Price is showing us that it's going to go back up and test the highs again. Why? Because of it doesn't have enough momentum to further push to the downside. So now this is what we're currently having. This is what we're currently having as a phase. So now what is that you have to look for is that what is price currently doing at this last price of action for entry triggers. Sorry about that. For entry triggers, this is what we're currently having: a reversal pattern. Instead of price giving us a continuation pattern. So let's go into the 1 hour time frame. On our time frame, this is what we're currently having. We're having this structure. It is in the channel. It's descending. We're having a first touch. We're having a second touch, and we're supposed to have a third touch as a picture perfect. But then price gave us what? A double bottom. This is basically a double bottom. So price from here, it can still push to the upside, or it can just correct its way up until this level, then start to push from this level. So for GPUSD, for an entry trigger, this is what they're basically looking for. We're looking for price to give us. We don't just enter at this level. We're looking for price to give us a strong push to the upside, then give us what? A consolidation as our first entry for selling opportunities. Obviously breaking this solid down trend line. Or price can still push back down, consolidate and push back down, give us what? A descending, within a descending, then start to push up, give us a consolidation towards the upside. So for GPUSD, we are waiting for these scenarios. Either price can still push back down. If it comes to this area, we are going to hit what? Our first push to the upside. We don't just enter. A lot of people like to take high risk entries. Something that I want to tell you about high risk entries is that if you want to take high risk entries, you have to be stable emotionally. You have to be stable because of they will take you out a lot of times. You have to have a specific specific story for you to take a high risk entry. But if you want to be, all I'm trying to say is that a high risk entry loss, it feels different from a reduced risk entry loss, because from a reduced risk entry loss, everything is confirmed. If you take that loss, you're not going to feel as emotional as you are feeling on high risk entry, because of a reduced risk entry. Based on your plan, at the end of the day, you did what is correct. Everything was confirmed. You saw everything. Maybe can be taken up by some sort of a stop hunt or manipulation. But then for high risk entry, nothing is confirmed. So it's going to take you out a lot of times. You'll end up revenge trading, which is not good. So what you have to do is wait for an impulse outside of the channel here. Correction. Wait for this, or wait for price to come back to this area. If it does that, don't take an entry from this level. Wait for another push to the upside, then a consolidation. Don't have what we call fear of missing out, where you want to catch trades at the bottom. Maybe I don't know for what reasons. they're calling them sniper entries. I'd rather wait for something that is confirmed than to be taken out. If you take a high risk entry here, price come here, it turns, you enter, you put a stop loss, it takes you in, it keeps on going down, So you have to have a specific scenario for you to take what high risk entries. They don't just take them at anywhere. So just wait for that. If price comes to this area, wait for it to push back up, give you that first continuation for you to enter. If it doesn't do that and decide to go from this point, wait for it to break above, give you a continuation, then take it from there. It's all about waiting. It's better for you to miss a trade than to be taken out for an unnecessary loss. It's better that way. So that is it for this market breakdown. GBP USD, Chfjpy, Cadjpy, and a recap on AUD USD. That is all for the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed and I hope you have a productive week ahead. I would like to apologize for the noise that you hear outside. It's basically kids who are renting here. I think they're playing with the car or something. But then that's it for the video. I hope you enjoyed and I hope you'll have a productive week ahead. These innovative traders. We out.